Okay, in this video, I'll explain the four activities, and I'll actually do the first one. So let's look at this first one right here. So here we have a section, okay, through the middle. It's cut right down through the middle, and that's how it looks like. I did have the wood shop do a sample for me, and I've cut it to show how this looks. Unfortunately, we're not in class. The next one's a little easier. You can use the same section arrows over here. This one's like a washer, or a little washer has two circles in a section. And this one just has a little cutout here and it's cut down this way in the middle. The first one is probably the hardest, so it has all these steps how to do it. And I will actually go through and I will actually do it right now, but it has all these steps how to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's in the second drawing. It shows you the steps. So let's actually do this one. So I've opened up the imperial border, so 1 to 1. Okay, and I'm going to start off by drawing that rectangle. This time I'll just use a line command and I'll draw the rectangle. I'll draw it out here because I'm not sure if it'll fit. So I'll draw it here and I'll go 6, enter. This way 12, enter. Okay, I'll go up by 6. And I'll finish off here. Okay, and I'll need a line down the middle. So for now, I'll just put a line from the midpoint to the midpoint. And I'll offset these other lines by 3. I'm just offsetting this line by 3 this way to draw my circle, offset that line by 3, and I'll draw my two circles which are 2-inch diameters. So I'll go to the circle diameter and I'll pick the center here and I'll go to enter and I'll draw the other one. I'll just click here and I'll hit enter. I don't even have to hit 2 and it remembers. And I'll just draw a dummy circle a little bit longer and another dummy circle a little bit longer, same size, and I'll extend those lines so they're perfect. So I'll use the extend command here, and I'll just extend this, 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 and this, and I'll erase these two. Okay, and these are center lines, so switch over to the center lines. Now I'm going to draw my section down here. I'm going to do a cut through here. So I'm going to line it up here, line this up here. I'm going to come over here, and I know it is 2 inches thick, so I'll write 2 here. Line it up on the other side, go up by 2, and just connect there, and I'll create this rectangle. And then I have to draw these dashed lines from here to represent the circles. So I need a dashed line from here to here. And actually, they won't be dashed because you'll be able to see them. So there'll be con lines here. Because when we section them, it'll be the CON line. So let's draw another one here. Make sure it's lined up. Okay. So that's lined up here. And that one's there. And we needed the center lines. So I will draw a center line right here. From here to about there. And maybe I'll leave some room between it. So I'll bring it down here. I'll leave a bit of room. To draw the second one, I'll use a little trick. I'll use the copy command. So I'll copy this part from the center of there to the center of there. And I have it. Now this border's too small. I can't remember. I think it's a scale of 2. I'll just double check. So we do the same thing. Yeah, scale 1 to 2. So we'll come back here. We'll scale this drawing by 2. So we'll use the scale 2. And we'll make sure it fits nicely in the border. Okay, so I'll put the border right around it. It looks like it fits right there. Now you can always move these pieces if you need room to add dimensions. You can always make sure you move it in a straight line. Make sure it's lined up so it's still lined up at the end. Okay, to add the hatch, you go hatch here. This time you use that hatch for the hatch, okay? You're going to go pick the hatch command. And you're going to click, here, here, here. Okay, now I feel those lines are a little bit too close together, and that comes with some experience. I'm going to just change the scale right up here to 2, enter, and now it looks better here. Okay, Now this is the standard ANSI 31 hatch. So let's just double click and I'll show you. It's the let's click on it and this see it's the 31. If it's a steel, it's this one. So ANSI 32. It's American National Standard. That's what ANS stands for. Let's see which one I have on the other drawing. Did I use the see which one I used here? I used on the oops, it shouldn't be blue. Let's go to the other drawing. Let's see what I asked you guys to do. Oh, I got you to do the ANSI 32, the steel one. So we'll go with the steel one here as well. We'll just switch it over here to the 32. Okay, now comes the hard part, and maybe I can even move my border over, is to draw that actual arrow. I know you guys can dimension, is to put the actual arrows there. So, all of a sudden, first we're going to switch to the section layer here. Okay, we're going to do it in the section. Now, you go and you draw an arrow, and and then you hit escape, and you look at that arrow, and it's way too small. Okay, so here's what you do. I'll leave that arrow there just to compare it. You go over here, okay, and when I did that arrow, just to let you know, I hit escape at the end. You go over here, and you go to this 1, 2, 3 down, okay, to the arrow modification, the multi-style manager. And I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it like large arrow, or large is good enough. You can put whatever you want here. We're going to continue. I'm going to create a new one. Okay, you check here, arrowhead, just leave all this. Don't change any of this. Leader structure. Okay, don't make sure this is off. Make sure these two are off. Make sure they're not ticked. If these are ticked, it adds this leader, and the arrow will not be that good. So make sure those two are off. Okay, make sure they're not on. Over here, so if I scaled my border by 2, I'm actually going to make this arrow even bigger. I'm going to double this. I'm going to make this arrow 4. So I scaled my border by 2. I'm going to make that scale 4. Okay, and content, just leave all that. Just make sure those are off. Oh, these two are off. Okay, and this here is 4. Let's take a look. Close. Now here, make sure you're on large. Let's see what the arrow looks like now. And we can compare the two. There. Okay, hit escape so you don't have any text. There, I make one arrow. Okay, see the comparisons, 4 times bigger. Now, off that arrow, I'd like to put a line. So I put a straight line off the arrow here. Okay, this is all done in the section layer. And then I move it to where I want it. Okay, now if I want it on the other side, I use the mirror command, where I can draw another arrow or copy it. There's multiple ways, but there's the mirror. So I take this, and I just maybe mirror it by the midpoint. And there I have the arrow on the one side, and I have the arrow on the other side. Now I got to add the writing, so I'm going to go and add the text. So over here I'll add the text, so I'm just going to go to the text. Now, the text should be bigger as well. Okay, so when I do my text box here, okay, normal text is 1/8 or 0.125 times 2, but I'm going to multiply by 4. So in here, I'm going to put 4 divided by 8. You just divide the number by 8. So normal text would be 2 divided by 8. Now we're going to use double that. Okay, there's our scales. 2, we're going to use double. We're going to put 4 divided by 8. So in here, we're going to put 0.5 to make the text really large. But when you're in up here, make sure you hit enter. So this becomes bigger. And we're going to put A here. Now, if there's more than 1, then the next one will be B. And we'll kind of line it up here as best as we can. Okay, and now just copy this writing onto the other side. Okay, I should have clicked on the copy command here. Instead, I have to use the shortcut, so I copy it over here, and it should be right in line, and there's section AA. Okay, on the bottom here, I copy that again. Okay, so I copy this, and I put it on the bottom here, and I double click. Oh, I can always make this bigger, and I type in section AA. Okay, now I'm going to add my dimensions, so I'm going to switch to the dim layer. Okay, now just to let you know, the hatched layer here will print out lighter. So that's one of the characteristics. Now I'm going to switch to the dim layer and add my dimensions. Now I know they're going to be too small. So right away I'm going to go here, and for people that still don't know, you go here, you modify, and you just change it to the scale of your border, 2. Now I also want the in symbol, so I'll go to primary units, and over here in the suffix, I'm going to add the in symbol. Okay, and I'll close. Now I'm going to start adding dimensions. Now, these may not be exactly as on the drawing that's over there, but that's okay. Okay, you can make some changes. They don't have to be exact. So we'll do the 3 overall. There's 1. You know what? I'm going to put on this side, the other one. So here's this one. I'll put it out here because I know this one's going to have to come out. Okay, there's this one. So we got our 3 overall dimensions. Okay, so, and I'll match this up over here. 1, 2, 3 overall. Next, locate the holes. So let's locate the holes. So we'll put 1 right here. Going to be a little bit tight. And I'm going to put the second one. I'm going to just go from the end of that line to the end of that line and match it up. Okay, so now we've got that, and we need the location of the holes the other way. So we can go, maybe we can put on this side. And we'll add it right there. Now we've just located the holes. Okay, next the size of the holes. So, or I could have put these dimensions at the bottom. I put them here, but I could have put them at the bottom. Okay, might be a little bit different than the other ones as long as I have all the dimensions. Diameter. Now I've got a choice here. Oh, it's going to be tight to squeeze in here, so I think I'm going to put it over here. This is still acceptable through it. Don't go through here, but through here is fine. You can squeeze it. Maybe I can squeeze it up there and move my whole drawing. Let's take a look here. So I'm going to put it here or there. I'm going to move the whole thing down because I got room. So I'll move this whole thing down over here, and that too will fit. And I can either dimension it twice. Okay, so I could dimension the circle twice, or I could just go here. Now I have some room here, and I can add the word TYP, and it can go underneath as well. So I can go TYP under, and then I've finished dimensioning it. Then I double click on the border and put in all my information. Now let's see how this compares to the other one. See if I made any changes or if I missed anything. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so in this one, I put the dimensions at the bottom, which is okay, and put section AA. And over here, I put 2 over here, typical, and 3 and 6. But basically, I have all the dimensions. Okay, now, later on, when you do the other ones, you can just copy the border now. Look, they're all 1 to 2. Copy it 4 times, and then you can draw this one. Now, you can even steal this and put it over here. Take this, put it over here. Section in AA, you can put it under there. Okay, same here. You might have to rotate or make the arrow the other way. You make your washer, and then finally this one. So I'm going to let you guys now do it on your own.